I was standing in the doorway of what had once been mine, my suitcase at my feet, my hands trembling, not with fear, but with a calm I'd earned. My parents were smiling, all warmth and expectation, as if asking me to surrender my own space in the home I'd paid for, so their son, the golden boy, their perfect child, could have it. They didn't see me, they never had. And yet in that silence, I saw them clearly. It hadn't always been like this. When I first moved back into the house, freshly divorced and exhausted from a life that had chewed me up, my parents had welcomed me. Their son, my younger brother, was finishing college, his future bright. They'd painted the house with dreams, but I'd paid every brick, every repair, every silent dinner where I listened to their subtle comparisons between him and me. I believed in family once. I had hope once. I thought love was enough to protect me. I noticed the first signs slowly. The way my mother's smile faltered when I entered the living room. The way my father would casually mention my brother's accomplishments in passing, not as pride, but as a reminder. And then, one night, I found it. An email thread between my parents and their lawyer discussing the room reassignment, phrased as if it were a kindness to me. Kindness. I laughed alone in the kitchen, the sound sharp and empty. That was when the heartbreak shifted to something else, something cold and precise. I didn't confront them immediately. I don't act when the storm is rising. I watch it, learn it, let it build. I traced every thread of their favoritism, every whispered instruction meant to belittle me without ever saying it aloud. I learned their schedules, their vulnerabilities, the way they would boast about me to neighbors and friends only to tear me down behind closed doors. Every detail became ammunition. The planning wasn't about anger, it was about strategy. I documented everything. Financial discrepancies, letters, recorded conversations, subtle but damning. I consulted a lawyer who didn't blink when I explained I wanted justice, not just restitution. Control the narrative, they said, and I did. Slowly, meticulously, I built a case that would make every demand my parents had made crumble under its own weight. Then came the execution. I didn't storm the house or yell. I invited my parents to lunch. Public, neutral, a stage where appearances mattered. I let them talk first, smug with the assumption that I was still the reasonable, forgiving daughter. I waited. Every word I had gathered, every document, every proof of manipulation and financial mismanagement, I presented with calm precision. No theatrics, no venom, just truth, polished and undeniable. Their smiles faltered first. My mother's hands, always so delicate, trembled as she sipped her water. My father's voice caught mid-sentence when I detailed how the master bedroom, my sanctuary, was always considered a negotiable asset, a place to gift their son, disregarding my rights. I watched the realization spread across their faces. I had anticipated every denial, every excuse, every plea. I was no longer the powerless child. I was the arbiter. Then, the final blow. I had the legal documents ready to reclaim not just the bedroom, but a significant portion of my financial contributions they'd been misappropriating for years. They hadn't expected me to act. Not with cunning, not with this level of silent force. Their golden boy could have his bragging rights. He couldn't have my life, my investment, my space. I watched them shrink in the booth across from me, the air heavy with the weight of their own hubris. Walking out of that restaurant, I felt a clarity I hadn't known in years. I didn't gloat. I didn't need to. Justice had been served, not through chaos, but through calculation. I returned home, to the bedroom that had always been mine, and for the first time in a long time, I slept without compromise, without apology. Now I sometimes catch them in the hallway, a glance that lingers too long. They try to mask their shame with civility, but it doesn't reach me. I've already crossed that threshold where hurt becomes empowerment. I am not their victim. I am not their cautionary tale. I am the one who moves with purpose, who turns betrayal into strategy, and who rises while others fall into their own shallow schemes. And as I lie in my room, I understand something essential. Revenge is most potent when it's silent, when it's precise, when it's inevitable. They wanted to erase me from my own life, but I didn't just survive their favoritism, I dismantled it, piece by calculated piece. I've learned something else. Love doesn't always protect you, but intelligence and restraint do. And sometimes the quietest victories are the most devastating. Because they asked me to give them back themselves.